Hey there, and welcome back to the Sprouting Spoons virtual cooking class. Today we're going to be making a delightful eggplant parmesan. For today's class, you're going to need one eggplant, some parmesan, mozzarella, your favorite tomato sauce, and a breading station, which is going to just be all-purpose flour, a couple beaten eggs, and some seasoned breadcrumbs. We're going to be using just a regular Italian blend. So to start, we're going to take our eggplant and peel it. You're just going to take your vegetable peeler and go all the way down, and hopefully it'll peel very nicely. Make sure you go back and get all of the little pieces that you missed, because that can get a little tough. Once your eggplant is peeled, you're going to cut it into nice thick slices. I generally like about 1/4 of an inch or so. Once your eggplant's all cut up, you're going to get a sheet tray or any kind of baking sheet and put some paper towels on it, and you're going to lay down your eggplant slices so that they're all exposed, and we're going to sprinkle a little salt on them. The salt's going to draw out extra moisture and prevent it from absorbing quite as much oil, so they get nice and crispy and don't get soggy on you. You can be rather generous with this. Once they're salted, you can wait about 5 minutes for all the moisture to seep out, and we're just going to dab them dry. So we've had these sitting out for about 5 minutes after we sprinkled the salt on them, and you can see how much moisture has already started leaching out of these. So we're just going to go ahead and dab them with a nice paper towel to dry them off. They don't have to be completely dry, but you're just trying to remove some of that extra salt and water that has leached out of them. So before we fry them, we're going to have to bread them real quick. So we have our basic standard breading station, which is all-purpose flour, a couple beaten eggs, and some Italian seasoned breadcrumbs, to which we're going to add just a little bit of Parmesan. We have about 2 cups or so of breadcrumbs and about 1/2 cup to 3/4 cup of Parmesan cheese that we're just going to go ahead and mix in. The breading station works because the flour will stick to the lightly moistened eggplant, and then the flour and egg will mix together to make like a glue type substance, and then that will adhere the breadcrumbs and cheese. That will become very delicious when it's fried. So we're going to take our eggplant, like I said, and dip it in the flour, and then the flour can go into the egg, and we'll just flip that over, and then that just goes into the breadcrumbs, and that should stick onto it. And then we're going to repeat until all of our eggplant is breaded. Alrighty, so we have our big cast iron yet again with a little layer of grease in the bottom, and then we've heated up over medium-high heat. And we know that it's ready because we've dropped a little bit of our breadcrumbs in it, and they started to sizzle right away. So we're going to take our breaded eggplant and just put it in the pan. We're going to place it down and push it away from you, that way the oil doesn't come back and splash up on you, because it's all about safety. We're going to work in batches so we don't overcrowd the pan. And we're just going to fry these until they're golden brown, and then flip them over and fry the other side. Once they're all done, we're going to dab them on a little paper towel and put them on a sheet tray, and we'll finish them up in a little bit. So once these are nice and browned on both sides, we're going to place them on some paper towels to absorb some of that extra grease. So once your eggplant rounds have come out of the grease and have drained off for a little bit, we're going to move them onto a sprayed sheet tray. That way they don't stick. And then we are going to top them with a little bit of our favorite tomato sauce. Mine is a lovely blend of some tomatoes that I did before. And then we're just going to put a spoonful on top of each one, like so. And then we're going to do my favorite part. You just top it with a little bit more cheese. We're going to be using just a little bit of mozzarella because it melts really nicely. You can even top a little bit of extra parm with your mozzarella if you would like. And then once you have them like that, we're going to put them underneath a broiler for a couple minutes just until the cheese is melted, and then we'll be ready to go. So when you broil something, we're using a flame that's centered directly above the item that you're cooking instead of the oven, which cooks from all the way around it. So we want to make sure that we're very careful with what we're putting in and how close it is to the flame, because if it's super close it's going to burn, and if it's far enough away it's not going to do much. You also want to make sure that you broil with the door of the oven slightly cracked. That way any fumes or anything like that that might come off, any little oil splatters that come, don't create a larger grease fire that becomes an issue. So always be very careful and vigilant when you're using the broiler. So while these cook, we're going to make sure our broiler is on low. That way we just have even more control over everything. So generally, when you have your pan in the oven, the side that's closest to the door is going to be a little bit cooler because you're going to have the oven door open just a hair. And that's going to prevent some of them from browning as dark as the other ones. So you're going to want to make sure that you rotate your pan about halfway through. In doing so, your center ones are going to get a little bit darker than the outer ones, but they're all going to taste just as delicious no matter what. So I'm just going to take this center one right here and give it a taste. And we got to get some of that cheese, right? Well, thanks for watching, and we hope you liked it, and we'll make it in the future. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and we'll catch you next time. See ya.